This was the most painful challenge I've ever done. Today, I'm gonna try to beat Pokemon Violet with just one silly, squishy, sweet little Ditto. Should be pretty easy, right? Let's get started, I guess. We begin the game, meet our rival, get our starter, feed it to a robot, then we trade in our Ditto hero, Duncan. Nice, he has Imposter. That means we don't have to waste a turn transforming. But that's not quite good enough to beat Nimona and her little dog? Doesn't matter, we get to move on no matter what. We arrive in Mesagoza and start making our way up to school, where we learn that if you like the video and subscribe to the channel, Game Freak will make a random Pokemon in your box shiny. Seriously. Try it. Then we're finally set free to begin our international tour of ass whooping, which kicks off with the bug-type gym leader, Katie. Should be pretty easy, right? It's just the first gym. Well, here's the thing. Ditto has a pretty big problem. When it transforms, it copies all of the opponent's moves and stats, excluding HP. But for some reason, Ditto only gets 5 uses for each of the moves it copies. That, when combined with the fact that the trainers in this game simply refuse to teach their Pokemon 4 moves, is a very serious issue. If you don't understand, let me show you why this is a very big problem. After barely defeating Katie's lead Nimble with 5 struggle bugs, all we have left are double kicks, which... Oh, this is bad, man. Yeah. This is a tough battle to start with. We try this fight again, but this time we give terastallizing a shot. If you don't know, terastallizing is this game's unique mechanic that basically lets you change your Pokemon's type once per battle. Another thing that Ditto doesn't copy from the opponent is their Terra type, so we're able to change into a Steel type turn 1 and give the fight a shot. I chose Steel for Duncan's initial Terra type because it's the type that has the most resistances, but it turns out to be pretty terrible for this fight, actually, so whatever. After those first 2 attempts, we realize we're gonna need a little boost. So we level Duncan up a few more times before getting back to the gym. Leveling up Ditto isn't quite as impactful as leveling up any other Pokemon, since it just copies the stats of the Pokemon it transforms into, but there are 2 main things that leveling up helps us with. First, it gets Duncan more HP, which, reminder, is the only stat that Ditto doesn't copy, and second, it helps us do slightly more damage. Why more damage, you ask? Well, this is because of a small quirk in the formula that the game uses to determine how much damage your attacks do. In addition to using its attack stat, your Pokemon's level is also factored into the calculation. It's a small boost, but in a challenge like this, we have to take what we can get. With our new power-up, we get back to the gym. All right, we are, I think terastallizing is smart. Double kick, wall, super, oh, big crit. Oh, we lost the speed tie, that's really bad. Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna be able to do this other than by just leveling up. It's feeling like we're just gonna need to level up. After adding another loss to the books, we start to feel pretty helpless, but not all hope is lost. Unlike Pokemon games of the past, there are no vast bodies of water or impenetrable bushes blocking our way out of this town. No, Scarlet and Violet are open world, which means that since we're having a hard time with Katie, we could just go somewhere else. So we abandon this fight for now and head east of Mesagoza to battle the first Titan Cloth. So now we get to answer the question, what happens when you have a Ditto with Imposter versus a Titan Pokemon? Oh, just tiny? Unfortunate, but as my girlfriend always says, size doesn't matter. We're able to rock smash through the first phase of the Cloth battle, then team up with Arvin to slam dunk this superpowered crab. Finally, some progress. While that victory was sweet, the feeling is short-lived because after we defeat the crab, we have to crawl right back to Katie. We take another unsuccessful shot at the gym leader, but as we lose, we get a sign from above. Did the moon just fly into the sky right there? We know what we must do. We take to the open road and make our way all the way over to the city of Levincia, where we can purchase the held item, the Covert Cloak. In addition to being a stylish accessory for any Pokemon outfit, this cloak also protects our Pokemon from the additional effects of moves. I wasn't quite sure what this meant exactly, so I put it to the test against Katie. A big problem we've been having in this battle is the fact that on turn 1, Katie always uses the move Struggle Bug. This drops our special attack and makes it so we can't do nearly enough damage to beat her before she beats us. What we find is that by equipping the Covert Cloak, Struggle Bug doesn't drop our special attack. No special attack drop, that's amazing. Covert Cloak is so clutch. Oh my gosh, we're crushing this guy. This is the furthest we've gotten, I think. I think we'll be able to kill this Tarantula. By using this item, we're able to make it all the way to our final Pokemon, Teddiursa. We get it down to just a sliver of HP, but we run out of attacks and we're forced to use Duncan's favorite move, struggle. This does enough damage to take out this teddy bear, but it also does 25% of our own HP in recoil damage. This is our very first tie of this challenge. Since you all are winners like me, you probably haven't ever tied in a Pokemon game before. Well, I regret to inform you that much like in real life, in Pokemon, the house always wins. Even though we technically made our opponent faint first, since our only Pokemon also fainted, the game treats this as a loss. But if we can get a tie, we can definitely get a win, right? After leveling up a few more times, we get back to the grind. We land a super high roll Struggle Bug on turn 1, then get a lucky crit on a double kick to take out our lead Nimble. From here, we use our remaining 4 double kicks to take out our Tarantula, which means we have 4 Struggle Bugs at our disposal against her Teddiursa. Barring something catastrophic happening, we should be able to take this one home. We hit it with a couple Struggle Bugs that deal about 1/4 of its HP each time, but as we're doing this, we keep getting smacked with Fury Cutters. The problem with that is that every time Fury Cutter lands, it doubles in power. We trade blows down to the very last turn. Should be fine, right? This Grasshopper has to be faster than some random baby bear. Well, not quite. It turns out that we're the exact same speed as this Teddiursa, which means we have a 50% chance of attacking first and winning the battle. It all comes down to one final coin flip. No! Live? We lived. Yes. Oh, the roller coaster of emotion. Oh my goodness. And that's how you do it. That's how you beat the first gym. Wow. It only took getting Duncan to level 40 to beat the first gym. This challenge sure is gonna be fun. With Katie finally defeated, we head over to the second gym to battle the gym leader Brassius. We're able to use his trash lead with its even more trash moveset to make it all the way to his Ace Pseudo-Wudo, but unfortunately, our luck ends there. This is a tough loss to handle. After tasting victory against Katie, we want more. So we decide to skip Brassius for the time being and head over to give the second Titan a taste of its own medicine. Oh my... Is that a one-shot? Oh my gosh, this thing shreds. Oh, of course the Knackley steals all the glory though. After clipping the big bird's wings, we decide to try our hand against the first Team Starbase. Unfortunately, this is where we fail our challenge. You see, you can't actually battle these bases with just one Pokemon. You need at least a team of 3. But after what we just went through with Katie, we're not going to let some half-baked overworld battling mechanics stop us. So, we find a team of killers. Duncan, Twunkin, and Thrunkin, the squad. With our elite kill squad assembled, we head into the base and wipe the floor with these Team Star grunts. Get him! Get him, Duncan! Look at him, huh? He's a killing machine! Can you fight ghost types with normal types? Oh, you can! Get them, boys! They're murdering everything. Don't talk to me or my sons ever again. Eventually, the leader Hakamo has no choice but to come out and defend his base. But before the battle even begins, he makes a critical error. You see, in his team selection, Hakamo decides to lead with a halfway decent Pokemon, which pretty much seals his fate. We Terrasilize into a Steel type on the first turn to power up our Metal Claw and take out his Pawniard. Then we use super effective Fury Cutters to defeat his Revavroom. I cannot tell you how incredible it felt to defeat a trainer on the first attempt. Now with the Team Star base successfully infiltrated, we head to our next objective, the Steel Titan Earthworm. This gentle giant kindly gives us another easy win. Not wanting our win streak to end, we continue to avoid fighting another gym leader and instead head to the second Team Star base. We tear through the grunts with our Death Squad, then take a shot at the leader Mela. Duncan is able to win the mirror match against her lead Torkoal, but falls shortly after to her Revavroom. Since this is our first attempt at this fight, we still have Twunkin and Thrunkin in our party, so we get to answer the burning question, no pun intended, what happens when Ditto transforms into a Team Star Revavroom? And the answer is... nothing. Of course it's nothing. Whatever. We give this fight a few more attempts, leveling up each time until we realize we simply do not have the survivability or the damage to defeat this overpowered, oversized lawnmower. These Team Star Revavrooms are absolutely ridiculous and definitely not fair, which makes me wonder, if our opponents aren't going to fight fair, then why should we? This is where we decide to do something crazy. We wash our Ditto. Not only does this sponge bath make Duncan look absolutely fantastic, but it also increases our friendship. And in this game, the power of friendship is absolutely ridiculous. No, not metaphorically, it literally makes your Pokemon stronger. Normally, friendship is capped at a level where you won't see these benefits in a typical playthrough. But if you do specific things like spending time with your Pokemon in a picnic or slathering them in oil and giving them a good old-fashioned rub down, you'll be able to increase your friendship past this cap and get a whole big list of benefits in battle. All the benefits are on screen now, but the main ones we're interested in are the 10% chance to dodge enemy attacks, increased critical hit chance, and the 20% chance of our Pokemon preventing itself from being knocked out. If these benefits seem kinda OP, well, they are. But again, for a challenge this difficult, we're going to take all the help we can get. We rub-a-dub-dub Duncan until our friendship is maxed out, then after another good wash for good measure, we try our luck against Mela another time. The first attempt we don't see too much benefit, but then on our second try, Duncan goes crazy. We take out her lead Torkoal with 3 clear Smogs, then the first turn against her Revavroom, we avoid its Screech with the power of friendship and hit it with a Flame Wheel. The second turn, uses Screech again, and it misses again? Yes, Duncan. Turn 3, it finally lands a Screech, but we're able to reset our defense back to normal with Torkoal's move Clear Smog on the following turn. We chip away at it over the next few turns, getting a lucky dodge on its Blazing Torque until we run out of PP for Clear Smog. Normally this would be an issue because that's our main source of damage, but using our last Clear Smog activates the Lepa Berry that we gave Duncan to hold before the battle, which restores our PP for that move. With 5 more Clear Smogs, we're easily able to finish out the rest of the fight. Now that we've defeated Mela, we actually have to bite the bullet and head back to Artisan to battle Brassius. We copy his lead thing, then take out our doppelganger with 3 Mega Drains. Then we terrastalize to a Steel type against his second Pokemon, Smoliv. We hit this thing a couple times with Mega Drain until we activate our Lepa Berry and restore the PP of our only attack. At this point, we start doing something that might seem strange. We start using our second move, Sleep Powder. This may seem like a bad idea because grass types are immune to Sleep Powder, but we use up all 5 of its PP anyway. We do this so that we'll be able to quickly access the move Struggle against his Sudowoodo if it comes down to that. It's better to burn up the PP now against Smoliv, who does way less damage. It turns out I do know what I'm doing because we end up running out of Mega Drain PP against his Sudowoodo, but we're healthy enough that we're able to use 2 struggles to finish it off and secure our second gym badge. Now normally at this point in the game, we would head over to battle the gym leader Iono in Levincia, but Iono is very special. For some reason, this streamer queen has a team of 4 Pokemon, whereas the next 2 gym leaders after her only have teams of 3. Since Duncan has such limited PP on all his moves, bigger teams are a serious problem for him. So we decide to skip Iono for the time being and head over to Cascarafa to take on the gym leader Kofu. He must have heard that we were coming because just as we arrive in town, he makes a break for it. So we have to chase him across the desert before we can take him on. Along the way, we decide to make a quick stop and defeat the roaming Titan found in the middle of these shifting sands. Then we track down the gym leader Kofu at an auction on the coast. We try to talk to the man, but his overzealous assistant won't let us approach, so we of course have to defeat him in a Pokemon battle to get past. We finish out this fight, then the gym leader finally agrees to battle us, so we head back to Cascarafa to take him on. But right as we step into the gym building to start our battle, we have an unexpected visitor. Oh, we have a Nemona battle? I forgot about this. At least this battle does give me a chance to show you why we chose Quaxly as our starter. At this point in the game, Nemona has started to expand her team a bit. She's got a new lead Pokemon, Rockruff, which will be her lead for the rest of the game. If we chose any starter other than Quaxly, her ace Pokemon would have a type advantage against our Rock Dog in every battle going forward, but since we chose the Duck, her Fuecoco and its evolutions would be at a disadvantage to Rockruff. Because of our advantage and how good Rockruff is in general, this battle easily goes in our favor. With Nemona defeated, we're able to finally get to Kofu. Right at the start of the battle, the Jolly Gym Leader makes that same critical error, which seals his fate. He gives us a decent Pokemon. We're able to land a critical slash on the first turn against his Veluza, which lets us easily clean it up with a second slash. Then his Wugtrio comes in and does its best, but that's not even close to enough. Finally, he sends in his ace Crabominable and terrastalizes, but it can't really stand up to the offensive power of Veluza, so we take it out with a couple slashes. With another gym badge in the books, we continue to avoid Iono and instead head to take on the normal type gym leader Larry. He makes the same mistake as his friend friend Kofu, leading with a Pokemon that isn't complete garbage. Turn 1, we lose the speed tie, but manage to dodge his Kamala's Slam and land one of our own. The following turn, we use Sucker Punch to guarantee that we go first and take out his Koala without taking any damage. Next, he sends in his Dunsparce. We outspeed this Poke Centipede and hit it with a Slam, which does about half of its health bar, but in exchange, we take a pretty beefy hit from his Hyper Drill. The following turn, we get an unfortunate miss and take even more damage. Then finally, on turn 3, we're able to finish this thing with another Slam. Larry's grand finale is his Ace Staraptor, which comes in and drops our attack with Intimidate and immediately terastallizes. We're a bit low on HP, but fortunately for us, we're able to terastallize right back and become a Steel type. As a Steel type, we resist every attack that this bird has, so we're able to use the healing from leftovers to survive as we slam and Sucker Punch our way to another victory. Not only does this win get us another gym badge, but now that we've defeated Larry, we unlock the biggest power boost of the entire challenge. After you earn Larry's gym badge, you're able to return to the restaurant where you did battle and turn in Terra Shards to change the Terra type of your Pokemon. This is incredible for us because it means that going forward, we can swap Duncan's Terra type based on our opponent's Pokemon to get the biggest advantage possible. Now that we've defeated Larry, we have 3 potential options for where to go next. Option 1 is to take on the dreaded Iono fight. Don't like that one. Option 2 is to head to the Tag Tree Thicket and battle the Poison type Team Starbase. Also not that good. Or option 3 is to climb a gigantic snowy mountain and battle the Ghost type Gym Leader Rhyme. We decide to go the mountain climbing route, which should tell you something about how scared we are of the other 2 options. After climbing to the top of Glaciato Mountain and wandering into the town of Montenevera, we try to attempt the gym challenge. But there's a problem. This gym is in the doubles format, so before we begin, we have to pull Twunkin out of retirement. With our double Ditto squad, we defeat the trainers in the gym easily until we face off against the final trainer, MC Sledge. Now, throughout this challenge, my opponents have had some comically bad movesets, but nothing compares to this MC's Drifblim. Wow, okay, so it has... This is the worst moveset I've ever seen. If you've ever wondered why this Drifblim pretty much always self-destructs on turn 1, well, there's your answer. We finish up this battle, then unlock the ability to take on the Gym Leader Rhyme. Rhyme's gym is probably the most interesting design for a battle in this game. Not only is it in the doubles format, but the crowd will also reward Pokemon with stat boosts at various intervals throughout the battle based off of what happens. For example, the first person to terastallize in the battle gets a boost to every stat for both of their Pokemon. So of course on turn 1, we instantly terastallize. This not only gives us an Omni boost, but it also allows us to utilize our new Terra type, Dark, that we swapped to before leaving Larry's gym. Being a Dark type makes us resist Rhyme's Ghost type attacks and also powers up our super effective Dark type attack, Sucker Punch. By using our Dark type resistance to Ghost attacks, boost to every single one of our stats, and Rhyme's own ample collection of moves that hit her team super effectively, we're able to tear through her Banette in the first 2 turns, destroy her Houndstone with a Shadow Sneak and a Sucker Punch, and clap her Terra Ghost Toxtricity with that same combo on the following turn. Finally, she's down to just her Mimikyu, which can't stand up to the stat boosted might of our Duncan Twunkin tag team, so we take the fight home. We do earn another gym badge, but we don't have too much time to celebrate because right after our win, Nemona ambushes us and forces us to battle. We do win this one thanks to the fact that we still have Twunkin on our team, but Nemona gets the moral victory here since we had to use 2 Pokemon. At this point, we decide to continue to avoid any battle that seems remotely challenging and instead head to defeat the final Titan, you know, since we're in the neighborhood. Just as we arrive at its home island, something ridiculous happens. What? So when I transform, do I stay on the platform? Oh, it disappears. Whoa. They didn't think about that when they were testing it, did they? After fishing Duncan up from the bottom of the sea, we lure out the Titan Dondozo, defeat its first phase, then team up with Arven to beat it and its little buddy a second time. With the 5th Titan defeated, we realize that there are no more easy fights. We can't dodge her any longer. We travel back to Levincia, where we're teleported into the Iono Zone. Our debut as a streamer in the gym challenge is a smashing success, but unfortunately, that doesn't help us in our battle. A big reason why I've been avoiding this battle for so long is because of her lead. This stupid little bird. Compared to the rest of Iono's team, this Wattrel is complete and utter garbage. But since we put this fight off for so long, we at least have the option to change Duncan's Terra type to give us some sort of advantage. We head to Larry's gym and swap our Terra type to ground. I guess. I mean, it's an electric gym, so that should work, right? In our first attempt, we take out her lead watch rail easily with a spark and a quick attack. Then she brings in her belly bolt, which is an absolute monster. Our first pluck does basically no damage. To make matters worse, whenever we hit this thing, its ability Electromorphosis powers up its next electric attack and makes it do ridiculous amounts of damage. We take a huge hit from a boosted spark, then on the next turn, we terrestrialize into a ground type, which at least saves us from taking another boosted spark. The only problem is that we're not doing very much damage to this thing very quickly. And it has the move Water Gun, which now hits us super effectively thanks to our new type. We do manage to trade blows and come out on top, but then Iono sends in her Luxio. The scariest part about this guy is the fact that it has Intimidate, which makes all of our attacks do less damage for the rest of the fight. It's not a great situation. Even with the healing from our leftovers, we just can't beat this cat dog before it defeats Duncan. We give this fight a few more tries and even swap our Terra type to Electric in the name of science, but we still don't have any luck. Eventually, we decide it's probably best to come back to this one. Instead, we head over to the other side of the map to take on the Team Star leader Ortega. Twunkin and Thrunkin come out and mercilessly destroy the entire Pokemon population of a small city, then Ortega rides out to face us. For this fight, we get to copy Ortega's Azumarill, which is actually pretty good, especially because it has the ability Huge Power, which makes it hit like an absolute truck. The only problem is that his team does not hesitate to mercilessly drop our attack with Charms and Baby Doll Eyes. We try this fight a couple times until we get a lucky run. We use Bounce turn 1 and instantly get a paralysis on our opponent, then we land a Play Rough, which just barely doesn't kill. But luckily, Ortega misses his Play Rough, so we're able to take out the Azumarill with another Bounce. Getting through the first Pokemon without getting our attack dropped is a huge step. From here, we terrestrialize into a Steel type as Ortega brings in his next Pokemon, Wigglytuff. As a Steel type, we now resist every one of this Wigglytuff's moves. We land a huge Aqua Tail turn 1, then the Wigglytuff goes for a Charm. Ooh, no. Avoid? Yes! That miss saves our attempt. From here, we're able to take this thing out with a second Aqua Tail, then Ortega sends in his Doxbun, who unfortunately is able to drop our attack with the Baby Doll Eyes. Eventually, we barely scrape out a win against this dog with 5 HP as Ortega brings in his Revavroom. Live? No. F. We try this same strategy a few more times, but we aren't able to get anywhere close to the level of RNG that we managed on that last attempt. At this point, we have to go back to the drawing board. It's been a while since we checked out the Delibird Express shops in the area, so we double back to Mesagoza, where we find that they've expanded their offerings. In the store, we find that we're now able to purchase a Clear Amulet. When held, this item prevents your Pokemon from having its stats dropped in battle. With the Clear Amulet, we won't have to worry about having our attack drop. And even better, the AI has a pretty decent chance to waste its turn going for an attack dropping move anyway, even if it's seen the Clear Amulet before. Nice Baby Doll Eyes. Ha! You already knew I had the Clear Amulet, you imbecile. What an idiot. Cheesing our way through Ortega's team with the Clear Amulet plus a super clutch crit, we're able to make it to his Revavroom with a ton of HP. We trade blows until we're both extremely low. It all comes down to these final couple turns. We need to either survive or get a miss next turn. It can confuse? Duncan, come on, bro. Do it for me. Do it for me. Do it for me. Yes. Yes. Crit. Oh, so close. Miss? Live? Yes! Come on. We need to not hit ourselves in confusion 2 turns in a row, and then we get it. Come on, baby. No, Duncan! Oh. While that was an extreme emotional roller coaster, we know that our strategy definitely can work. We repeat this same thing a few times, but we start throwing in charms to drop the Revavroom's attack to buy more time. Eventually, we get to the Revavroom with by far the most HP we've ever had at this point in the fight. Everything is great. We land 3 charms to buy ourselves a ton of time. Then we have 2 more attacks to take it home. It's perfect. Could use some of that RNG like I had before. Okay, that's fine. It doesn't use up a PP if it hits on the first turn. That's fine. We're chilling. It's not even getting close. I'm not even worried. I'm not worried one bit. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about hitting myself in confusion 2 times in a row after we've gotten 4 misses so far in this battle. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about hitting myself in 3 times in a row in confusion. I'm not worried. I couldn't be less worried about this right now. I couldn't be less worried. Yeah, 4 times. Me? Whew, this completely dry, not sweating it at all. Not sweating it one bit. Finally snapped out of confusion and winning this fight. That's all it is. I'm not sweating 275% accuracy moves. I'm not worried about the fact that we have to critical on this and not get confused 2 times in a row. I'm not worried about it. Not worried one bit. Does this guy look worried right here? Does this guy look worried to you? He better not. I mean, if I look worried, then you don't know what worried looks like. Not even worried about it. Not even worried about missing. We scour the battlefield for the pieces of our shattered mental health and give it another go. Thankfully, it's not too much longer until we don't get completely screwed by RNG and win the fight. After beating Ortega, we develop a taste for Team Star blood, so we head over to the Tag Tree Thicket to face off against the Poison-type specialist, Don Atticus. This was another fight that we had been putting off because we thought it would be really hard. But what we find is much different than we expected. We take out his lead Skuntank much more easily than we thought. Then he brings in his little Revavroom. Before the battle, we changed our Terra type to Dark to be able to Terrastalize at this very moment. But we realized that after the last battle against Ortega, we forgot to visit a Pokemon Center to charge our Terra Orb, so we can't do that. Not to worry though, because we're able to 2-shot this thing with Sucker Punches, only taking 1 super effective Bulldoze in return. Next, he brings in his Muck, who also goes down to 2 Sucker Punches. Finally, he's down to just his big Revavroom, who we hit with our 1 remaining Sucker Punch. Then our Lepaberry activates, giving us more PP and allowing us to narrowly defeat this big boy with a few more Sucker Punches. Winning that battle on our first try without even having our Terra Orb charged was a nice pleasant surprise, because I definitely expected to be there for a while. Emboldened by our success in the thicket, we decide it's time to finally conquer our streamer Demon Iono. We swap our Terra type back to Electric, then fly to Levincia to get it over with. Turn 1, we're able to use the damage boost that we've gotten through leveling up since the last time we battled to 1-shot our Wattrel with a Spark. Then she brings in her Belly Bolt as we Terrastalize into a pure Electric type and Quick Attack. We do end up taking a Spark charged by Electromorphosis, but since we're pure Electric now, we resist it. Same with the Water Gun, it shoots off on the following turn. We persevere and use a few more Sparks to take down this big boy, then she sends in her Luxio. It intimidates us, dropping our attack, but we're still able to take it out with 3 Sparks, restoring our PP for Spark with the Lepaberry along the way. Finally, she's down to just her Miss Magus, who comes in and Terrastalizes. Turn 1, it hits us with a Confuse Ray, which triggers my PTSD from Ortega. We fight through our confusion on the first turn, hitting it with the Spark, but we take huge damage from a Hex in return. Then, don't hit yourself. Do not even think about, there you go, yes. Oh, maybe just one more, maybe just this last one. Live the Hex. Hex misses. Come on, say Spark. Yes, yes, we did it. Did we do it? We didn't quite do it. All we need is for this Quick Attack. Yes, we snapped out. Yes, let's go Duncan. We beat the 3rd gym leader. Now that we've scraped out a W against Iono, we only have a few more things left to do in the main storyline. We make our way over to Alfrenata and head into the gym building, where we're ambushed again by Nemona. But at this point, her lead Lycanroc is strong enough to easily tear through her team with a little help from Friendship. Defense drop would be so good. Oh my gosh, Duncan is actually clutching this. Lycanroc is busted? Completely unprepared and first try win. With Nemona out of the way, we're able to blast through our mandatory emotional sensitivity training and take on the next gym leader, Tula. Before we battle, we decide to change our Terra type to Steel, then we go ahead and give it the old college try. We use Farigiraf's super effective crunches and our powerful defensive resistances from Terra Steel to almost sweep through Tulip first try. But we fall to her Ace Florges before we're able to finish the job. Not to worry though, we come right back and easily crunch our way to victory on our next attempt. From here we head back up to the top of Glaciado Mountain to battle the final gym leader Grusha. We have an unsuccessful first attempt at beating the ski bum, but then we figure out a pretty cool strategy. We head down to Larry's gym and change our Terra type to Bug. Then we give Duncan the choice scarf to hold, which increases his speed by 50%, making it outspeed Grusha's entire team. Normally using the choice scarf is not great because it locks us into only using a single move, and reminder, we only have 5 PP per attack. But by boosting the power of Bug Buzz by terastallizing into a double bug type, we're able to one-shot his first 3 Pokemon. Then his Ace Altaria comes in and just barely lives through our first Bug Buzz and fires back with a super effective Hurricane. This does some serious damage, but we survive and finish up the fight with our final Bug Buzz on the following turn. Defeating Grusha marks the end of our gym challenge, which is great and all, but it also marks the point in the game where the difficulty takes a serious step up. This starts with the final member of Team Star, the fighting type specialist, Aries. This is the first trainer that we have to face with 5 Pokemon on their team. That alone is a serious problem, just simply due to Ditto's PP limitations, but it also definitely does not help that Aries' team is completely full of insanely strong Pokemon. In our first attempt, we use the leftovers for healing as we trade blows with her Toxicroak until it goes down. Then we one-shot her Lucario with a Brick Break after taking a Dragon Pulse. From here, she sends in her Annihilate, who lives through 2 Sucker Punches and fires back with its signature move, Rage Fist. This move is absolutely busted. Its power increases each time Annihilate takes damage, so after 2 Sucker Punches, it does a ridiculous amount of damage to Duncan. We do manage to take it out and defeat her second to last Pokemon, Passimian, by terastallizing to Bug to resist its close combat, taking it out with a Poison Jab and a Brick Break. Now we arrive at her final Pokemon, Revavroom. This is by far our biggest problem. Each Revavroom that these Team Star bosses have has a different ability. I haven't mentioned them yet because they really haven't been that relevant until now. You see, Aries' Revavroom has the ability Stamina, which increases its defense every time that it gets hit. That means after our first couple hits, we start doing basically no damage whatsoever and eventually run out of PP. We try using a Lepa Berry to give us extra PP to be able to take it out, but we can't even get past her first 4 Pokemon without the heals from leftovers. We try leveling Duncan up all the way to level 100, but we still can't do enough damage to defeat the Revavroom. We try switching our Terra type to Ghost to be immune to fighting type attacks, but we still lose to Annihilate. We try over and over with just about every strategy I can think of until we break. We go into the fight with the leftovers and Terra Ghost and follow the same strategy from before to reach the Revavroom. As we run out of PP for Poison Jab, we get in our bag. Literally. I figured that maybe I could just use an Ether to restore the PP on Poison Jab, but when I go to do that, we just see this. What? So you're telling me that Ethers don't work on Ditto? How could they not work? Okay, maybe an elixir will work? About an elixir, let's try an elixir. Just, you know, just for fun. Use an elixir, but it had no effect. Nope, that just wastes our turn. All right then. Looks like we're gonna have to go full heal mode. I know with the power of friendship and a Lepa Berry, this fight is technically possible to do without healing, but the odds of that actually working are just way too low for it to be realistic. So we slap on a Lepa Berry and beat down Aries' first 4 team members until we reach her Revavroom. We use up all 5 of our Poison Jabs and the extra 5 Poison Jabs that we get from our Lepa Berry, and that still isn't enough to kill this thing. But after a single Max Potion, we can finish this Revavroom with 1 final Brick Break. And with that last Brick Break, we have officially cleared the main story of the game. Now we enter the post-game. Each of the main storylines culminates with a few final battles. The first of which is the Elite Four and champion fight that caps off the gym challenge. Now here's the thing about the Elite Four. Much like any other Pokemon game, these battles are gauntlet style, meaning that once you start, you can't exit until you either win or you're defeated. defeated, which means that we can't change our Terra type in between these fights. So we do a ton of research and planning, then finally settle on Terra flying before heading in to face our destiny. We head up to the Elite Four building and pass the written section of our champion assessment, then head in to face our first opponent, Rika. Rika specializes in ground types, but thankfully, she leads with a Whiscash. We trade a few blows with her lead and ultimately take it out with an Earth Power, then she brings in her Donphan. This thing does have the ability Sturdy, which allows it to live through our first Muddy Water. We do manage to drop its accuracy with the Muddy Water, but it still lands an Earthquake in retaliation. Not too big of an issue though, we're able to clean it up with an Earth Power on the following turn. Next she sends in Dugtrio, who uses Sandstorm for some reason and also dies to a Muddy Water. Her second to last Pokemon is Camerupt, who comes in and manages to dodge our first Muddy Water, landing a Yawn. Meaning that after we one-shot it on the following turn, we'd fall asleep as Rika brings in her Clodsire and terastallizes. This is quite bad, but amazingly, this dummy goes for a Protect on the first turn. We're asleep for some reason. Then at the end of the turn, Duncan manages to shake itself awake with the power of friendship and land a Blizzard. From here, we hit a second Blizzard, which just barely doesn't kill, but what it does do is freeze Clodsire, allowing us to finish it on the following turn with an Earth Power. That went much better than expected. Beating Rika so easily gives us some unfounded confidence as we head into our second battle against the Steel-type specialist Poppy. Her Copperajah is a pretty decent lead to copy, but it's a bit slow. In our first attempt, we're able to beat her first 3 Pokemon, but ultimately fall to her Magnezone. We attempt this battle a few more times until we have a crazy idea. Turn 1, we Terastallize into a Flying type, which makes us immune to her Copperajah's Stomping Tantrum. This allows us to set up Stealth Rocks without taking any damage. The following turn, we win the Speed Tie and one-shot her Elephant with a Stomping Tantrum, then she sends in her Magnezone. As it comes in, our Stealth Rocks do their job, doing just a tiny bit of damage. This damage really matters though because it breaks the Magnezone's Sturdy. So after it sets up a light screen instead of attacking, we're able to kill it in one hit with a high horsepower. From here, she sends in her Corviknight, who goes for a bulk up turn 1. This is pretty bad because it raises its defense and we're already struggling to damage this thing as is. But we get a super lucky crit, allowing us to finish it off without using up too many attacks. Her second to last Pokemon is a Bronzong that comes in and misses its first Iron Head. We trade a few blows until we manage to finish it off with a quite rough. Finally, her ace Tinkaton comes in and terastallizes. At this point, we are super low on HP, so if any move connects, we're pretty much cooked. It loads up and swings with its big ass hammer, and... oh, it missed! Wait, that's so clutch. That was so insanely clutch. I can't believe we did that. That was something like our 4th attempt at that battle. Yeah, you could say I got pretty lucky there. But hopefully our luck hasn't run out because our next opponent, Larry, is probably going to be our hardest matchup of the 4 trainers. In our first 2 attempts, we're able to Terastallize and get through his first 3 team members using some super effective hits, but we get hard stuck against Oricorio, who destroys us with its electric-type Revelation Dance. Eventually, we're able to defeat the first half of his team to get to his Oricorio without taking too much damage. Then we heal through its attacks with some potions until we're able to take it out. Next, Larry brings in his ace Flamigo, who Terastallizes and smacks us with a Terra-boosted Brave Bird. We just barely live and clap back with an Air Slash that doesn't quite kill. Not to worry though, after another heal, this pink idiot kills itself with the recoil damage from Brave Bird. Finally, we face off against the last member of the Elite Four, Hassel. He specializes in Dragon Pokemon, which is a little scary, but he makes the classic mistake of leading with a good Pokemon. This Noivern is able to outspeed his entire team, taking them out with super effective Dragon Pulses and Air Slashes until he brings in his ace-back Excalibur, who comes in and Terastallizes. We know we won't be able to one-shot this pseudo-legendary with a Dragon Pulse, so we decide to go for an Air Slash to try to get it to flinch on the first turn. Unfortunately, that doesn't work, so we end up taking a super effective Icicle Crash right to the face. But thanks to the fact that we took almost no damage up to this point in the fight, we're able to survive and finish it off with the final super effective Dragon Pulse. Now that we've completed the Elite Four, we head up to the top of the building to face the champion Geeta. Our champion friend also also makes the classic mistake of leading with a good Pokemon, but it's not quite as helpful as it normally would be. On our first attempt, we're able to get through as Pathra, Kingambit, and Veluza before ultimately falling to our Avalugg after we just aren't quite able to one-shot it with a Lumina Crash. Losing on the final battle is definitely not great, but something you may not know about this game is that unlike older Pokemon games, if you lose to the champion, you aren't reset all the way back to the beginning of the Elite Four. You're able to just go back in and give it another go. Losing here also resets us back outside into the open world, which allows us to head to Larry's gym to switch up our Terra type. We swap to Steel Terra for the general resistances and use it to help us not get hit super effectively by our Kingambit's Dark type Kowtow Cleave. That, in combination with setting up a Reflect to further decrease the damage, is enough for us to take this Dark Lord out with a few Dazzling Gleams. But after taking out our Kingambit, there's nothing we can do to deal with her Avalugg. It just comes in and destroys us even through the damage reduction of Reflect. Eventually, we end up following the same strategy, but when her Avalugg comes in, we use a heal and take it out with a couple Lumina Crashes. Next, she sends in her Veluza as we set up another Reflect, which allows us to survive and heal again. Then 2 Lumina Crashes later, the fish goes down and we restore our PP with the Leper Berry. From here, Geeta sends in her Go-Goat, who gives us a free opportunity to heal by going for a bulk up, then just kinda dies to 2 Lumina Crashes. Finally, she brings in her Ace Glamora. Normally, we would hit this thing super effectively with the Psychic type Lumina Crash since it's part Poison type, but it terastallizes into a pure Rock type instead. We outspeed it and hit it with a Lumina Crash that drops its special defense but doesn't kill. It all comes down to this: we just need to live one single Earth power to take the fight home. Oh, just barely. And we're champ. We just barely survive and finish out the fight with the second Lumina Crash. Just like that, we've passed the champion assessment. But there's no time to celebrate because as we're exiting the building, we're ambushed by Nemona one last time. She challenges us to a final battle in the middle of Mesagoza, which we happily accept. Before we do that though, we head back to the school to finish up the Team Star storyline. We head up to the gates where we're supposed to meet up with the leader of Team Star, Cassiopeia, in the schoolyard, but as we approach the building, we're stopped by the director and forced into a battle. Let me tell you, this one was a doozy. He leads with an Oranguru, which is a decent Pokemon if you're playing doubles. In singles, it's absolutely trash, but you know, we're kind of stuck with it. We start the battle off by terastallizing into a Dark type, but unfortunately, the opposing Oranguru goes for a Reflect, which makes our foul play do basically no damage. To make matters worse, the next turn we end up getting yawned. We fire a yawn right back, which results in some of the most riveting gameplay that Pokemon has to offer. Unfortunately, we wake up after our opponent and they end up putting up another Reflect. Since we only have 2 attacks and one of them is Dream Eater, which only works when our opponent is asleep, this basically kills our attempt. On our next try, we manage to get through the Oranguru, but then he sends in his Abomasnow. This thing, of course, has the move Aurora Veil, which is basically Reflect and Light Screen rolled into one. Another serious issue. We do manage to stall out his Aurora Veil and take it out with some Dream Eaters, followed by a foul play, but then he sends in his Houndoom. This thing is another big hitter and gets some serious damage on us with a Fire Blast, leaving us at 5 HP. But the following turn, we heal up, then finally take this thing out with the foul play, which triggers our Leper Berry and restores our PP. Next up is his Gyarados, who we yawn on turn 1 as we take a big hit from its Aqua Tail. We use another heal as it Aqua Tails us, then falls asleep. We get a critical Dream Eater, which does huge damage, but unfortunately, it wakes up after just one turn of being asleep, meaning that our second Dream Eater fails and we have to waste another PP of foul play to take this thing out. His second to last Pokemon is a Poltergeist, who we yawn as it goes for a Shell Smash. Once it falls asleep, we're able to use its boosted attack against it, taking it out with a single foul play. Now the director is just down to his last Pokemon, Meowscarada. Thankfully, this thing terastallizes into a pure Grass type, removing its resistance to our Dark type foul play. We tank a super effective Play Rough and hit it with a foul play, leaving it in range to go down on the following turn. All we need to do is live through a Terra boosted Flower Trick. This just barely. Nice. We foul play our way to victory, then head into the school to face off with the true team star leader in the schoolyard. And the greatest plot twist in Pokemon history, the evil team leader turns out to just be our friend Penny. It doesn't matter how close we've gotten over these past 3 interactions that we've had, she wants a piece of Duncan. Of course, we're happy to oblige. And what we're not super happy about is the fact that her lead Pokemon is an Umbreon. Normally a decently strong Pokemon, but more on the defensive side. This is perfectly illustrated by the fact that it takes us 4 quick attacks and 5 Terra boosted Dark Pulses to take out our Umbreon. We do have a Lepa Berry to recharge our PP, but she still has 5 more evolutions that we have to deal with. Next, her Leafeon comes in and hits us with 2 super effective X Scissors, but we're able to take it out with a couple more Dark Pulses. From here, she sends in her Flareon, who hits us with the Flare Blitz as we heal. This is actually fantastic because instead of wasting any attacks on this thing, we could just sit there and heal as it kills itself with recoil. Next up is our Vaporeon, who comes in and hangs on through 3 Dark Pulses. We finish it off with a quick attack, but at this point, we only have 5 Psychics left to take out a Jolteon and her Ace Sylveon. Instead of just taking out her Jolteon immediately, we decide to use up the PP of our Baby Doll Eyes just in case we need to struggle to finish off our Sylveon. After using up all of our remaining PP, we use a couple Psychics to finish this thing off. Finally, we're down to just her Ace Sylveon, who comes in and terastallizes. We hit it with our final Psychic, which does less damage than you would expect. At this point, we're out of attacks, so we have no choice but to just sit there and heal up in between hits until this thing runs out of Moonblast. Eventually it does, and we're able to alternate healing and hitting it with a ridiculous amount of struggles to take the fight home. After defeating Penny, we're truly in the home stretch. We head over to meet up with Arvin at his dad's lab, where we learn that the professor is in danger. He tells us that he needs our help and that we need to go deep into the crater in the middle of Paldea to save him. But in order to do that, we have to enlist the help of our friends. And in order to do that, we have to finish up the rest of these battles. The first of which is the son of the professor himself, Arvin. This is yet another in the long line of ridiculously challenging battles that we've been facing, but at least this one is pretty straightforward. We swap Duncan's Terra type to normal and get to work. His lead is a Greedent, which, side note, is literally my least favorite Pokemon. Unfortunately for me, we just have to use it. In order to beat this guy, we Terastallize on turn 1, powering up our Body Slam. This is almost enough to finish the opposing Squirrel with a crit, but not quite enough. So the following turn, we finish it off with the Psychic Fangs. Next, he sends in his Garganacl. This thing does know the fighting type move Body Press, which hits us super effectively, but we have Earthquake, which hits it super effectively. After tanking a Body Press on the first turn, we fire back with an Earthquake. Then the following turn, we heal up as it continues to press its body on us. We repeat the cycle until we finally finish it off. Next up is Toadscroll, who we take out with a couple Terra boosted Body Slams. Then he brings in his Scovillain, who misses its Fire Blast on the first turn, then goes down to a single Body Slam. This is where things start to get a little bit tricky. Arvin's second to last Pokemon is Cloyster, and this Cloyster's main attack is Liquidation, which in addition to doing big damage, also has a chance to drop our defense. If our defense gets dropped even a single time, we legitimately cannot win versus his last Pokemon. This attack killed so many of our attempts, it's not even funny. We pray to Arceus as we trade Body Slams for Liquidations until we ultimately take this thing out without having our defense dropped. Finally, he brings in his Ace Mabostiff, who Terastallizes and starts smacking us with Terra boosted Crunches. This is a similar situation to Liquidation. Crunch can and will drop our defense, and if that happens, we just can't win. But on this very lucky attempt, we managed to avoid having our defense depleted and hit this dog with 3 Body Slams to secure the win. Yes! Yes! Oh. Ooh. Now there's just one final battle left before we go rescue the professor. We make a quick change to our Terra type, then head to the center of Mesagoza to face our ultimate rival. This is what everything has been leading up to. The Quaxley choice at the beginning of the game, all the struggles against the gym leaders, all of our training has led to this moment. Goodra comes in, gets this Stone Edge to the face. Yes. Yes. Yes, and it was a crit. All right, last one. Okay, it doesn't kill. We've got another chance at victory. Special defense fell. Yes. Please land. Yes. Yes. And it was a crit. I just had to show you that whole battle because it was such a sick performance by Duncan. Now that we've completed all the endgame battles, we enlist the help of our 3 best friends and dive into the Great Crater to save the professor. We work our way down deep into the depths in the center of this big hole until we unlock the professor's lab and head inside to save him. But what we find inside may shock you. Turns out the professor is long dead and has been replaced by an AI that we've been talking to. This AI wants us to destroy the time machine that the professor built in order to save the world. But in order to do that, we have to defeat AI Turo in a battle, and his team just so happens to be made up of 6 insanely strong Paradox Pokemon from the future. We copy his lead Iron Moth and instantly terrestrialize into a pure fire type on turn 1. What's great about this Pokemon and its moveset is that it has the move Fiery Dance, which in addition to being a hard-hitting move, also has a 50% chance to boost your special attack. This is very good, especially when combined with Iron Moth's ridiculously high natural special attack stat. As we take out his Iron Moth with 3 Fiery Dances, we get 2 special attack boosts, which allows us to one-shot his next Pokemon Iron Thorns with yet another Fiery Dance. This nets us yet another boost, which comes in handy as he brings in his next Pokemon Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle is a bit of a problem, but it could go for Snowscape. This thing does have a tendency to be really weird and go for Snowscape over and over. I think we still just go, use Water Pulse. We live this though, right? On 2 HP, we live this easily. After that huge clutch, we take out the Delibot with another Fiery Dance. Then we take our chance to heal as Iron Jugulus enters the fray. We dodge its Dark Pulse, then finish it with yet another Fiery Dance. Same with his next Pokemon, Iron Hands. Finally, he's down to just his last Pokemon, Iron Valiant. It is able to hit us with a Brick Break, but we fire back with a super effective Sludge Wave, completely obliterating it. Now with the Professor beaten and the time machine destroyed, Duncan has successfully saved the world yet again. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you love Duncan. Till next time.